Hello everyone, it's Jean from Inky Studio. Welcome, welcome. I am starting a new project and it's going to be a vintage bee journal, and I'm making it sort of a tall and skinny, like 4¼ by 10 inch journal. It's just a little taller than a traveler's notebook, but it's a little bit more room because it is a little taller. And so what I did was I printed, this is from the Pink Monarch, these digitals, and so I printed one of them onto cloth and then attached it to some cardboard, or not cardboard, cardstock, and stitched around it. So that's how I created the cover here. So really like this method. It really makes it nice and sturdy. And then I've used the rest of her kit. Here is the name escapes me, but that I'll put that down below. Here is here's a page I created from the Graphics Fairy things, downloads, and this is some original vintage. This is from a ledger, I believe. The other one says 1911 on it. Wonderful, wonderful piece of vintage ephemera, some tea stain paper. Some more, this is from Artie Mays, Pink Monarch. This is from my porch prints. Yeah, trying to think where I got this one. I do believe this is from Artie Mays. And here is that journal, which is, it's 1900 there, so it's pretty old. And some more pages. So I'm just going to give you this really quick go through. And this is also my porch prints. So that is what I have assembled so far for the papers inside. I'll probably add a couple more. I just don't know which ones yet. I have another original vintage postcard. And, well, I can't really read the date. It's a little blurred up there, of course. But and I love this postcard because my grandmother's name was Mildred. Oh, that's really Lansing, Michigan. Yeah, I'm from Michigan, so I wonder just how close they were. So, anyways, a beautiful rose on here, which I think just goes so well with this kit. So I have this here. I also have some vintage, an old times table card, and I believe the date was in the 70s for this. Pretty sure that's what was on the box. And this is from the 1900s, early 1900s, 14, 15, something like that. But it's a game card. So I've got these here that I'm also going to add. And of course, last week we made these really pretty tags. And if you are interested in this, these tags were made to kind of help people with collaging, just some ideas to kind of get them started, give them some basic ideas about collaging. So if you're a beginner or you struggle with it, I'm going to put that link down below so that you can see that particular video. But I've got all of these that are going to be going to the journal as well. So today then I'm going to work on the inside cover. And even though, it's cloth and cardstock, and it's a firm cover, but I think by putting a pocket in here, we can make it even more stable than it is. And so that's what I'm going to be working with today. So for this pocket, I'm going to use this double-sided printed paper. And I am going, now you could use tea stain paper, scrapbook paper, whatever. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it, and it's going to turn out to be like a double triangle pocket on here. And so the width of your pocket is going to be determined with this long fold. So I'm doing like a hot dog fold, a long fold. So you don't really want it to be wider than your space here. So if I fold this in half, it will be just a little too wide. So I'm just going to fold it down a little bit like so. And then I'm going to cut off this extra piece right here. So now we have the width of the pocket here done. I want to make sure that it doesn't get too hung up on the fold inside there. So very simple fold. Once you've done the hot dog fold, you just simply fold it in half. Easy peasy. You just fold it in half. And now you can decide on which side you want the tuck spots to be. So on this particular one, and here I've made a prototype, I wanted the pockets to be facing inside here. So I'm going to fold them down. I'm going to fold these corners down in this direction. But if I wanted it on the other side, I would fold it down in that direction. So that's something you can just determine which way you want. So I'm going to do it this way. And I'm doing it this way because I feel like if it's folded the other way, the ephemera has a chance of slipping out a little bit easier. And this way I feel like it's going to stay in there better. And so you put down the first one, and you're just going to go from corner down to here and make like a triangle, an equal triangle. Anyway, so now we're going to fold this one back, but we're going to leave about 1/4 of an inch of that fold showing. Just like this. And then we have our pocket. So when we put it in, we'll have a pocket here, have a slip up here, a slip in through here, and then a place to decorate or for the tag to hang down or whatever you want to do. Now if you get to this point and you say, oh, I made mine too wide, you can always slice it off right along here. You can always do that if you needed to readjust it. But that is the pocket. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this portion together right here. Okay, because this way it'll be a pocket and my things won't be slipping out. Or you glue it. You put a line of glue right down on that little, between those two edges. And then what you can do is you can cut this down to get rid of the bulk. You know, so you can cut this off right about here. I'm going to do an experiment here for a minute and see if I like this idea. Because I like that honeycomb showing, but no, I don't like it. So we're just going to cut that right off. And that way you won't have the bulk showing. Or, you know, adding bulk to your journal. So just make sure it's all folded and creased nicely. You know, what I ended up doing actually is I cut all the layers together instead of just the inside layer. If you want to have a pocket that you can lift up and write inside here and write, you know, something inside like that, then you would not want to sew this or glue this flap down. But I'm going to actually make this a tuck spot. So I went ahead and sewed right down all the layers so that, you know, stuff will fit up inside of there nicely. So, but, you know, otherwise you would have a place to, you know, journal underneath there as well. So that is kind of two different ways that you can close up this pocket. And so now that I have this finished, before I glue it in, I'm going to decorate this. And I'm really happy. Now this particular paper is from Artie Mays, from her bee journal kit. And I'm happy that the honeycomb came out. I wasn't sure how that was going to look, but it came out nicely. And I am going to now decorate this portion of it. I had two choices here actually. I could decorate the bottom or this, but if I put something in here, if I put up a tuck, a little tuck of something, then I'm not going to decorate this. So I guess I will decorate this flap. Oh, now I'm going to cover up the honeycomb. Well, you know, this is what happens sometimes. I have this yellow, so you know what? I'm not going to use what I thought I was going to use. I think what I'm going to put here are some words. And there was one here that I really liked. And that was, even busy bees stop to smell the roses. And I think that's going to go quite nicely because the first page of the journal are these lovely roses. So I think that is going to go just peachy. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of lace on there, just to kind of maybe give it a little oomph. Just a little bit here. I save all my scrap pieces of lace, no matter how small, just because, you know, for little cases like this. So let's get something out. Oh, this is nice. I think this will work out pretty well. We'll just get in a little bit of lace either here on the top or the bottom. See, I didn't want that honeycomb to show, so I think I'm just going to cut a little piece off of here. What did I do with my scissors? So we'll just cut off a little piece like that, and maybe just glue it to the top in the corner like so. I like this idea so the honeycomb can show. And yeah. Now I also have from the Graphics Series Premium site some really cool hexagon journaling cards that I think will be really neat to use. So here we go. Right, like, oops, that's too low. I want to go a little higher. All right, there we go. Just like that. Okay. So now we have that done, and let's get out those journaling cards. I put them in a little pile over here. So yeah, I think that's gonna look really cute. I love it, love it, love it. So we will just get this glued in. Real simple embellishment because it is a rather busy looking page anyways. So we'll just glue this down. I'm also going to glue down these two layers. Guess I didn't have to, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to do the two sides to form the pocket. A little extra here on the corners. There we go. And I'm going to lay it right inside here like so. Okay. So that, I think, is going to be very cute. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make a mixed media tag. And this is real simple stuff here, nothing complicated. I have dry embossed a piece of cardstock. And the first thing I want to do is put down a coat of gesso. And I'm using just cheap acrylic gesso. Nothing expensive at all. I mean, this is a huge container. Probably last me the rest of my life. So what I want to do is I'm going to just smear that all over on the tag. And so what gesso does is it helps for those of you who have not worked with it, it helps other applications of paint or spray or whatever you may add to it. It helps it to adhere well and also retain its like paper is will soak a lot of stuff inside, and sometimes when it does that the color is sometimes changed. So this kind of keeps that extra stuff you put on here a little bit more brilliant and easier to apply. So we're just going to coat the whole thing with that. And it also, gives it sort of this white background as well, so that a lot of times helps with your color to be more vibrant. And now we're going to dry this, and I'm going to use a heat emboss tool for that, or you can just let it naturally dry. It will probably take, maybe 10-15 minutes, something of that nature, to dry on its own. But I'm just going to do this to speed it up. Okay, so that is all heated or dried. And, I'm not an expert on mixed media at all. So what I'm doing is super simple, and it's something you can replicate very easily. Now I'm going to put on some Distress ink. I've got some Distress Oxide spray. And I'm using the scattered straw because I kind of want a golden yellow honey look. And that's what I'm going for here. And I'm going to just do some little squirting. Just simple, couple squirts. There, that's it. Just doing a little bit of that. Okay, and I want this to dry as well, so we will get that dried off. Now you could also use some tea, some water, tea-stained water or tea. Spray that on, or spray coffee on there. You can also do that type of thing. You don't really need the distress inks. It'll just give you a different look. Because I want a color, I am using that particular color. Now when you emboss things, it does weaken the paper just a little bit. Plus, you really can't write that well on the opposite side. So you're going to have to glue this onto another piece of paper or tea stain paper or something of that nature. And also I wanted to point out that I'm working on the raised side. You don't have to, I mean, it depends on your look, but I'm using the raised side of the folder. So let me get something glued on the back of this. And I have some yeah, I have a print that I'm not using, so I'm just going to use that for the backing on here. And you will want to make sure that you get the edges nice and glued, because that's where it's going to probably be lifting. And it's a little tricky because you have all these mountains and valleys to deal with. And I'm going to be rounding my corners, so I'm going to put more glue there. And I'll just finish it out. You can also sew around this as well, which would be a really good way to attach a backing to it. Let's see, I think I want to put it right over in this area here. I just want to make sure you got the edges pressed down well, just because of the embossing part there. And you may have to test it out after it dries and go back and add more here and there. Might have to happen too. We'll just cut around here. And oh darn, I didn't look at that very well, did I? Oh well, I will have to figure something out there. Yeah, I didn't see where I had not printed on their back, but I will just go back in and put some distress ink over there. So here is the top, or yeah, the top of the tag. And now what I want to do is I'm going to go in with some Gilder's wax. And so this is what I'm using. There's Gilder's paste, but there's other brands. I think here's a brand called Art Company, myartcompany.com. There's just different rub-on metallic waxes, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so there's different types. You don't have to have this one particular. Now, if I were not going to be using a Gilder's wax, this gold finish on it, and I just want to do that because I think it looks pretty with bees, I would then be getting a brush, like a makeup brush, and then getting whatever distress ink I wanted and just lightly going over it, and that would bring out all the design in here. So that's kind of what I'm doing, is I'm bringing out that design. I'm just going to quickly round my corners, and then you can use a cloth, you can use a glove over your hand and do this. I am just going to use my finger and get in there, and I'm just going to put a little bit of an edge around here. Now this is not gold. Gold, this is an antique bronze, I believe, or bronze, because the time that I wanted to get Gilder's wax, they didn't have any gold. So I said, well, this is like an antique gold. It's kind of that way. So I went with it. And then I'm going to lightly go in here and just try to get the relief that's inside. Kind of just go over that part lightly. And of course it's going in other places as well, but hopefully it's catching on the relief a little bit more than it's catching on the inside. Okay. So there you go. Very pretty. You can kind of see where, just like where some of the gesso comes through, where the spray didn't quite cover, where the spray was heavier and where it was lighter. It just all seems to kind of come out that way. And I just think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous tag. Now, I don't know if it really shows up on the camera. So maybe if I kind of change it directions, you can kind of see the glint in there. So that is the tag, and I have done, I think this is a very easy and simple way to do, to work with mixed media, and just to, now you could just use a tag, and this is pretty too, really. But this is what I have done. So I did one earlier. Now with this one, I used the copper one, and it kind of gave it a rosy shade. You know, so they're both a little, so it all depends. And I also put in some coffee spray along with the yellow distress. And actually, I kind of like it without the coffee spray for this particular project. But for other projects, that probably would be just how it should be. So now I am going to, here's what I did previously too. I'm going to kind of make this a 3-tier tag system here, coming out of, this is from the Artie Mays kit, and I think I must have really reduced it or something. It's quite small. And then I'm just going to make one that is just a little bit larger. And we'll just get in here with our corner maker and get that snipped off there and get it snipped off over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and cover paper that I have printed out here. And let's see, or you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to take a book page from a book that's been falling apart, and it's a Jane Eyre book, but the book was falling apart, so instead of having it go into the garbage, where I know it was probably headed, I went ahead and got it for papers. So let me see, do I want it this way? I think I want it up and down. Yeah, I think I want it up and down, so you don't quite read it right away. And then I'm going to put a little snippet on it. So this is just, I'm just doing a process video here. I'll probably have to mention it in the introduction when I do it, just so that it's not exactly, I'm not doing this like this is the only way to do it. It's just how I'm rolling with this particular journal. So I kind of like that look. I've got a little piece of fabric here, a little piece of yellow fabric, and then I'm going to put in this little piece of ephemera with the words honey and syrup on it. Oh yeah, so cute. And we'll just put that down here, and then get that glued on like so. So it's kind of simple, just a little simple something. And then I might put in, I got some little tiny bees. I'm telling you, fussy cutting bees, oof, that is quite the little operation. I think I'm going to fussy cut these, and I think these bees are from my porch prints. I like the way that that kind of matches that fabric a little bit. And we'll just put that little guy right here, like so. So here's the little tag that goes under it. And then I'm going to quickly add a little eyelet to this one. Okay, now that I have these 3 little cards, I'm going to connect them together with a bulb pin. Or, you know, I could connect them also with ribbon. I don't know, there's just all kinds of ways, I guess. So let's go ahead and get these inside. I still got that wax on my finger there. And so now, there we go. I got a cute little 3-layer tag here. Very cute. And a place to do journaling on the back. And I'm loving it. So I think I'm going to end here. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you've given some ideas, maybe give you encouraged to use a little bit of mixed media. That's something that it's a dream of mine to do more and more of that. I even bought a jelly plate. Yes, I know everybody else has one, and I'm the last one on the block to buy one. But I'm hoping that I can eventually start playing with that and show you how I play around with it. So like I say, I'm not an expert at mixed media, but hey, if I am doing it, you can be assured that you can do it too. So we will see you again, and I'm going to continue to work on this bead journal. Thanks a lot for viewing. Bye.